So hello everybody, nice to meet you. It was a long time that I didn't made any streams, and yeah, let's hide this thing. And I'm happy to be back. Yeah, this was for me a little bit of a period, how to say, after all that COVID, that I wanted just to relax a little bit and finish some other works. And before starting, really, I wanted to share with you those news that probably somebody doesn't know from my followers. My asset that is called Seascape is right now, let me share this screen with you. It's right now and on a sale with Unity FPS game dev assets. It's a whole bundle of assets for Unity and some games that has a value of 955 euros, and you can buy it just for 21. Or I'm hoping that you will add something more, because everything here is part of goes into beneficent causes. So everything that you pay above this price of 21 will be spent in the best way. If you know Humble Bundle, then you will understand what it is all about. So you can find also this Cityscape system that is also on this sale, in this bundle sale. So I'm suggesting you to take it. Let me speak a little bit about my Seascape, because many of you probably doesn't know what is a Seascape. Seascape is a procedural city generator. You can see here some of its aspects, some of its possibilities. Today I wanted to show you just a new latest version of Seascape that practically uses HDRP in Unity to create some nice looking buildings and how those buildings can work. Some of you that are here, okay, so you can see it right here. Okay, let me just see these messages. I have some messages in chat, so let me. Ma Oliver, lei è italiano? This is a question in Italian. No, I'm not Italian, but I live in Italy at the moment. I'm actually half Serb and half Latvian that lives in Italy. Hello, Chris. And let me see. Yeah, we have Cheyenne. This would be awesome. Oh, thank you. I hope this. I hope that it will be awesome. Let me just refresh. What did I miss? I was out for a bit. You didn't miss anything. You actually didn't miss anything. We have just started. So, this stream is mostly targeted to persons that already use or intend to use Seascape. So I'll be showing some of the new features of Seascape. And yeah, when you load, wait a second, when you load a normal scene, you will have something like this. This is a quite big city. Let me show you a little bit. If we look at the statistics for this city, it has something like, let me see here, debug stats. It has 13. Okay, yeah, you can see here right now. It has 13,000 buildings. Unique. There isn't any building that is equal to another. They are somewhat maybe similar, but every building is completely different. And what we have here is that we can actually every building that we generate. I'll show you this thing. If I select this building, you will see that, and if I go here at the section wire, you will see that it consists only of few polygons. It's like this. Everything that is rendered inside this building is completely, how to say, it is completely generated on a texture with the shaders. So you can see right now that we have everything inside this building. You know, like all the... We can animate most of the properties of any material. Let me just switch off this selection wire, and we can animate almost any property of this building, for example, of materials. So if I go here into a directional light and turn off the light, you will see that lights of the buildings are getting like turning on, so we can simulate night and day. And we can do everything this with a pretty big performance. This city works really well also on the mobile systems. Even on well, it doesn't work perfectly, for example, on Oculus Quest, but mostly it will work really well on any system. What is the actual potential of this system is that we can use it to customize any type of buildings. So like you can have in this case mainly 20 combinations of different shapes for like as you can see here, it's what I'm calling a shape. I will show you right now just a few of the textures. These are the shapes where we can define, where we're defining a layout, actual layout of a building, of its windows, of its features. Okay. Then we have this, and then we can also implement many of the options in the materials, like one of the things of the interesting thing is we can blend materials between different shapes. Each building can have its own combination of materials, its own shape, and each building, this is a pretty interesting thing, that each building, for example, I will take right now this building, and I could just resize it and move it and resize it and change its personal values, like its values just to then change its material just from a script, and it actually doesn't change the material, because each building has one single material. They all share the same material. So this means that when you are building your scene, you will end with really low number of screen pass calls. And this optimizes absolutely any scene. So you can see that we have here all those values, all those windows and things like that. We can just go into I will show you some other features. For example, what is a difficult thing to do is to simulate lighting, because at such a big city you would have to put thousands of lights. But actually here we can just use let me just show you a little bit better, because I have to change a little bit of exposure settings, because we are right now at minimal exposure. So I will go here into exposure, and you will see that all the streets get their lighting. They are getting their lighting from a system that practically regenerates lighting. I'm still working on this system because there are a few of the issues that I have to solve yet, because I'm porting this from standard from standard rendering pipeline into HDR pipeline, and standard pipeline is somewhat more easier to control, but mostly because I know it I have some. Okay, so this is this system. And what can we do right now is that we can just rotate this light and change it to a daytime. Okay, so right now we have a daytime. Of course, we have to fix a little bit of exposure. Okay, so yeah, this is daytime. So here we have a city, and there are many options that we can control here. You'll see that everything here almost looks like it was done in 3D. One of the new features of Seascape is that we can just blend many types of materials and create some with easy parameters, like simple parameters, different looks for our buildings. So just look at here, how does it change completely whole look of a city. With just a few simple sliders. Of course, when you're developing your own skins, and I will show you in a short how they can be developed, you can just go crazy and have different variations. Let me just check what we have here. Okay. So, Kotatsu, what is the configuration of the PC you're using? Right now I'm using i9 9000 series with Titan RTX card, but this works also really well on any other card. So on my Titan it works mostly like 300 frames per second, so it's even with 230 seconds in HD, even with many effects, post-processing effects. You can see it here, right? Second, okay, yeah. You can see it here, right? And I'm still not in the play mode, because in play mode it gets better. Are you using standard pipeline, URP or HDRP? In this demo I'm using HDRP. This is the reason, first Seascape was made for standard pipeline, and this new version actually uses HDRP because I had a lot of problems on porting standard pipeline onto HDRP. And then I have just decided to start from HDRP and then port it back to standard and to URP. That for me is much, much easier to do. And I will show you some of the new how does it work actually? So let's just how to say delete. I will just create a new city. So this works as that you can generate this street layout. The street layout is always based on how to say quad base, more or less. I don't have any streets that have curves because this would be really hard to manage with real-time graphics. With reflection probes and everything in real-time graphics is based mostly on quad systems. So if you don't have to use curved streets, it's better not to use. But for example, so we can see right now that we have this grid, and I can select any part of the grid and just say generate block. Generate block, you can see right now. And in this way I can just generate blocks that where I want them to be. You see it here. Let me see. Let's go here in this zone and just create another blocks. I don't know. I can also change values for this block. For example, if I don't like it like this, I can just decide what is the, how to say, here, sidewalk size, for example, generate block. So my buildings will be moved from a sidewalk, if you can see it here. And then I can just use something like materials, different materials, and block width, block section. Okay, let me just check here. Okay, minimum size building and maximum size building. So I can, if I want some buildings that are more massive, I can just add those values. Everything here can be just controlled from templates. There are a few scripts that can just control this. In my, even if how to say, so you can see here, right? For example, in some parts of a city you will usually find, let me just see, why am I, okay. You will usually find graffitis on how to say, on oh, why it doesn't work? But I don't think, no, it's not that it doesn't work, it's just like my keyboard isn't taking my commands. Okay, so for example, here I can just let me select one of the buildings. Okay, yeah, okay, for probably you can notice here. So I could just change some materials here, how I want them to appear. And yeah, I will have to just change this blend and things like that. Okay, because I have modified my features before. And right now I can just create something like okay, for example, distance change buildings. So I want that every building has a distance from the another. In this case, I would use this as a different type, and then place maybe some objects here in between buildings. So I can just say, okay, I want one distance from here. And this is for me a best way to generate those blocks. Like, okay, I'm generating block, I'm going here, and I can see that it's there. And for example, I can say here generate graffiti, and this block would be some suburban block. So in this block, I will generate always graffiti things on the buildings. If I deselect like this, then I won't have any. This type of creation is made more for artistic persons, and more for how to say, for like randomized way, but controlled way of creating game levels. For example, if I want to just right now to change some buildings, I can go here and change their sizes. I don't know, like this. And right now we have some. We can also make some combined buildings. For example, yeah, you will also see that we have rooftops here. If, for example, if I want to change a density of rooftops, I could just let me see here. Okay, we can just change number of objects that are appearing on the rooftop. For example, like here, or this is some other types of. Sometimes you don't want even those things, because you're just okay with. If you're doing some top down, you can just disable this rooftop generation from here. So here we have some of the buildings. Let's generate another block. Okay, generate another block. This one we could eventually just delete and put some kind of like terrain here, and place vegetation and things like that. Also, yeah, one of the main things that can be done is like generating street layout and then automatically generate buildings. Okay, while it generates buildings, I will just will this be good for movies? Because it's regenerating lighting in every new location. This is actually, I made this asset because I needed something. As my followers probably know, I was working for years in how to say, event industry, and where I was doing real-time projections and real-time animations. And in that industry, there was always a need. Like corporations always need some kind of new cities, new buildings, and things like that. So as many of the assets that exist aren't scalable, so they aren't you know, like you have maybe 10 buildings and you have to place them all over, and I just wanted to have something that can easily create a nice looking city, like in this case. So second, okay, so we have right now it's finished generating city. You will see that right now it's quite slow because each of these buildings, we will see here that we have 13,000, no, almost 14,000 buildings. But if I say here organized buildings, it will generate practically from each of the from each set of the buildings, it will generate one single object. Right now, it's impossible to to edit all those buildings, but it's enough to go to select this and then say deorganize, and then I can edit each building. So I can just shift them, move them, even, you know, like let's delete this building and just bring this to something bigger. You can see also that it generates these panels, so everything is loaded. So when you go far away, if you aren't looking at this, you can see that it simply disappears. So it tries to use any Unity optimization that is existent, and it applies some of its own implementations for some kind of. It's not a perfect thing to, when I, for example, generate, you can see right now here, no, everything here is okay, but there sometimes might be some intersections. No, let's find some where some buildings are just clipping each other. This is done because I think that it's much, instead of doing too much calculation for controlling, you know, like intersections and things like that, it's so right now I can't find any intersection. So I will find it. I will find some broken. I don't find it. Okay, never mind. When you have something like that, you just have to go into a building and just take it and deorganize and just push it back, you know. For example, sometimes it could happen that this building, for example, goes and blocks a street. Sometimes you might want this, sometimes you might not, but it's enough to just to move it along. Of course, when you have this kind of a city that is pretty big, I think that this city has something like 4 kilometers or even more. It becomes maybe tedious to check every building, but if you're building some game, you want to check everything, of course. Let me see another question. So sorry, I'm just here. Okay, yeah, of course. James Rose wrote in GTX 980. I have no problems using Seascape for desktop. Yeah, Quest 2. Quest 2 has some problems, I think, and I'm just tackling this, and I think that it will work in next this new version of URP will work on Quest 2, because at least at 72 kilohertz, or 72 frames per second. So yeah, the Quest has a different architecture, for example, of Oculus Go, because my first tests that I've done with Seascape were done on Oculus Go, and Oculus Go did a much better job than a Quest. Then I understood just that it's everything is about just about compression, type of compression of textures. So I'm adding this new feature into Seascape that just you can see it here right now. Sorry. Where it is? Okay, compiler options. You can choose here your compression format. In this case, it's DXT5 that worked greatly on Oculus Go. Unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore or greatly on Oculus Quest. Okay, so let's see another questions. Can we manually input a custom billboard panels on a particular selected building? You can create practically all of these buildings. Every building has its own, how to say, plugin that where you can create, for example, one type of the building. For example, this type of the building is like this, and you can just for example, this one has advertising panels, and you can just add those scripts and add what are the panels that you want. Sometimes it's much easier to add manually, but for example, if you need many similar how to say objects, then you can just use this. For example, here I don't know, I don't get any advertising panels. Okay, let me see here. I have to just do advertising density. No, let me check with another building. I don't know why. I don't. Maybe because I'm here right now on a normal view. Okay, for example, this you can see right now. If I have to deorganize, and you will see that this one has CS advertising script. So I can just say what is the calling distance, so from where you can see it, and what is the scale, minimum, maximum. You can see, for example, I can just set it like something there, and it will automatically place all those advertising panels. Or I can just change random seeds, so I can just and you can always create those objects that are pretty simple, like they are just Unity objects that you place there, and they are just adding like there. And okay, let's go now into one of the best features. That is called, okay, let me just save, and in the meantime I will just explain some other. Can you put custom? Okay, yeah. Troy, also, could we get simple traffic system integrated into this tool? I'm currently working with a developer of mobile traffic system. I don't remember how it was called, and we will be doing integration for this. So yeah, you can expect a third-party solution for Seascape, but yeah, it will be there. You sound design a city that just isn't square but have out edges. No. You can always, like I said before, you can just simply, if you need something like different city, you can just generate street layout. Okay, then start deleting objects. So like generate a big city, delete just squares. Okay. Like this. So this is the, and then I will just, what I will be doing, just generate here a city. So it's like generate buildings. Okay, tack. In 2 seconds, you know, you can fit any type of a layout. Mostly. So you can see right now that I've made just a city that is completely, you know, like different, you know. Also, for example, one of the features that I'm adding right now. What happened here? I think that I have, oh my god, I think that I have deleted my, instead of deleting objects that I need, I have deleted my, okay. Let me just reopen this scene. Yeah, because I have just deleted HDRP profiles. I was stupid. And let me. How does it work, the curve in the city size setting? I'm not sure about what we are speaking. Sorry. Can you just reformulate that one? Okay, so idea is here that I'm just deleting parts of this, and next time I will just have to check that my I would just have to check that my systems here aren't, like, okay, so something like this. And I haven't deleted my profile. So in this case, I can just this looks a little bit like okay, do something like this. Okay, and then just go here into building a city, generate buildings, and it will just generate all the buildings. Let me check this. Okay, Control Z. No, unfortunately, in this type of things, Control Z doesn't work. I'm sorry, but it will be really hard to implement for this type of things. Like. So you can see right now I have generated this city, and okay, I think that probably what Kotatsu Neko said. Could you explain, please, how the curve in the city size? Okay, yeah, heights. Okay, so I can move this city center. For example, it's right now here, and I can move it here. Okay. And then just say city size, heights, how it was, random settings. Let me just heights. Okay, why doesn't work? But I think that I remove. Okay, heights. Okay, calculate heights in real time. So practically, if I move this thing. Yeah, this is a too big city for this kind of thing. But it will right now, it will remake this part of a city. You can see right now that where I placed part, it will bring all those buildings into that part. This works much better for small cities. Like, this is a really big, massive city, and when you have 13,000. Oh, here we have a little bit less, but yeah, we still have. You can see right now. Also, when you're working in Unity, this shouldn't happen. You will see right now that I have pretty low frame rate. But when you're working in Unity, you should just go and always do this optimize performance, or go into buildings and say organize buildings. In this case, organizing buildings will unify meshes and create, like perfect. You can see right now that it works perfectly. And you can see that it follows a curve that we set before. And also, for example, here right now we have everything that is meshed up, you know, like everything is there. Let's just make a little bit smaller city, because I want to show you some of the tricks of a new version. 10 okay. I will just create new city, generate street layout, okay, generate buildings. I'll show this like, okay, no, probably one of the things, of the new things that we have is, like, if I duplicate a building, for example, and I want to make hero buildings, and this is something that is important, I think. Like, hero buildings are those buildings that are quite different than the other generic buildings. So, for example, I have just regenerated this one and this one, and then created this one. I can just go here and say drop to floor, and it will automatically stitch to a underlaying building. And this is a pretty nice thing to have. Like, okay, I can right now have just duplicate this one and just resize it a little bit. No, sorry. Resize it a little bit, like this, like this, like this, and just say, okay, I like it how it is. Drop to floor. Okay, so I can just create a type of a building that a change maybe also like shape of those things. So you can see that I can just generate different types with the same object. Yeah, this is the main idea of this feature. Duplicate another one, you know, and just, even if you don't do too much, you just do this and drop the floor. Okay, so we have a skyscraper that is like much more interesting. Another feature of a new version of Seascape is a mesher. The mesher is actually scriptable object where you can just input an array of points. In this case, it is like too many points. Okay, and I will just, you can see here, if I click Shift here, I can just say plus, minus. Okay, so I can just remove or add some points. I will be adding here some points. Okay, and then just moving it around. So I can generate any type of a building, but a nice thing about this is that actually, as I move this, if I move too close, it will generate like standard wall. It adapts to a shape that I need, you know. There are some other features that are really a little bit difficult to explain, but you know, I can just extrude. I can have or don't have what it's called, balconies. So if I go here, let me see it here, where it is. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can say how much do you want to extrude balconies, or how much, what is the height of the balconies, or what is, for example, I don't know. Okay, for example, one of the things is that I've added here that we can cap a button. So if you are placing on terrain, it's not a problem. But if you are placing it on some other building, you want to cap this button. Also, there is a system for mapping all those correctly, all those rooftop elements. So I can just, I can use this, and I can use this to define what type of and then I can also, because in architecture it is really hard to do a design for rooftops. This my approach generates some kind of artificial intelligence understanding of this, but sometimes, like for example, if I have this too hard, then it won't generate. So for this reason, I'm just adding all those guides where I can just fix some issues, and this system will be mostly important for using, for example, OpenStreetMap's data, as it actually can take any data of building floors, building plans, and bring them to a reality. Like to bring them to a real level. So yes, these are the things that I just wanted to show. And also, for example, right now I'm working on this system that practically adds blurring. I will show you some nice. You can see that we have right now blurring in front of lights, like a type of curtains. So we can have those curtains. And next thing that I wanted to do is, as you already probably have seen, that if I change here a lighting of direction light, all the lights are changing dynamically, so you can just animate your sunlight and this will change. And what I want to do is, right now, it's a stupid thing, I don't know if anybody needs it, but I wanted to implement it. Like when there is only a TV turned on in the house, then you can just see some flashes of a TV. I don't know if it's stupid, but I don't think that it costs too much if you're using like in performance. I have some idea how to make it. Yeah, so this is and also you will see here right now that we have I have some systems of just simulating real colors of those buildings. For example, some of the windows, if you know photography and video, you will know what is color temperature. So in this case, I'm using color temperature to colorize any all the how to say windows. You can see here I know color temperature variation. So here I can just choose variation, and here I can choose color temperature. So if I go, if you look, for example, for an images of photographs of night cities, you will see that there are always some kinds of blue and yeah. Okay, let me just check new responses because I was speaking. Yeah, absolutely, Cheyenne. Yeah, yeah, James, drop the floor is awesome. Thanks. Absolutely, I think that it's one of those things that you don't need, you don't know that you need, but actually, it is also good because you can use that function. For example, you could generate whole city and then delete all streets, and then just click drop on the floor, and if you have a terrain underneath, it will fit on the terrain. So this is my main idea of this feature. Yeah, thank you, Kotatsu. Kotatsu. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. Thank you, Chilton. Thank you, my friend. And also your how it was called. Chilton makes great software that is used for capturing, for doing some independent motion capture. It is called Glycon. Glycon, yes, Glycon. Yes, of course. Kotatsu, yeah, it will be. It is already fixed. I will be just sending update tomorrow. Can we place other game objects inside some of these rooms? Will they be visible? No, you can't place any other objects because everything is done in a shader. Everything. So this thing is a simple plane that has everything inside. Right now, what I'm trying to do is like I wanted to put some additional objects like hanging, like persons maybe, or plants, because plants are usually used on this type of things. So I think that I will be adding a possibility to add some plants into plants and persons and objects on different planes. I think that it will be a nice feature. Inked Alien. Is it possible to attach these to the top of other buildings I made? I want bottom floor able to go in and yeah, you can always use this. Like, for example, I have generated here a city, but this isn't something that, actually, my plugin was made for as a building generator, not as a city generator. City generation system is just a thing that I've added later on. So it's like it's just like a bonus. My main idea was to generate, to have an ability to use simple meshes to create complex things that are optimized, absolutely optimized for any platform, So from this standpoint, it's like okay, just generate your city, so you have your objects in your scene. Okay, just change a little bit lighting. Sorry, because we don't see here anything here right now. Okay, so you can just generate a small city, then take few of the buildings and take it to your object. Then use drop to floor, and then just resize those objects to fit your hero elements, because like you can have hero elements. And right now I'm also thinking about doing a special treatment to first floor, because right now you can see that I'm having here always like empty saloons. I'm treating them as I was showing here. I'm treating them as any other floors, but it will be. I will be adding also this feature to be able to add here different skins on the floor level, like shops and things like that. I think that it's important. So you just have to generate a little bit of buildings, then set them here and drop them on the... Okay, I will show you another thing. This is a part of Seascape CDK, okay, Seascape tool set. Just switch to this one, and what this does is that it is able to create all the skins. So this is one of the best features, I think, of Seascape that I made, because I wanted to have an ability to create skins in a fast manner. So how does it work? You will see right now, this is a preview window, and here I can just switch to to tiles that I want to use. Previous tile, next tile, okay. And you will see right now that I have here my objects that are actually depth textures. You can create them in any software that can create depth textures, and just scale them, move them around. So this is a for example, I don't know, I want to add an air conditioner. I can just take this one and add it here. Practically, this type of feature gives you an ability to create any possible style. So you can see I have changed this in 2 seconds, like in 20 seconds. I don't know. I want to add some window here. Okay, I'm just adding that one. Okay, and I can create any shape. Then afterwards, only thing that I have to do is okay, then I switch to another. For example, I just have to go here into Seascape Maker, next tile. Let's check this one. Okay, I want it like this. Okay, next tile. Let me see. I have to always come back here because unfortunately it's like that. I'm just taking this and rescaling it and taking another window. So the main idea is like that you can create anything, then just hit at the end, just hit here, bake textures, and it will bake every texture, every modification of those textures, and just send them to then you will have to open when it bakes, because when it bakes actually in these folders that are Deckard, Seascape CDK, and then it bakes in these folders. Depth and normal. You will see here afterwards those results. It actually creates everything afterwards. And then when I have finished this, this is important thing, you have just to open another scene, let's say Seascape. Okay, just to reset it, because this type of rendering requires a standard pipeline, and here we are using normal pipeline. Let me see. I mean, if I the new version of Seascape will be cities-based with version. It will be compatible, but you won't be able to have some advanced features. So unfortunately, it is impossible to support it backwards. That's why I'm calling it also version 2. But actually, you will manually, if you add some scripts manually, you could depends on the pipeline, because I had to make many changes that are related to pipeline, and those aren't upgradable. But I think that in any way you shouldn't have any problems with upgrading. You will just miss some features. No. I'm not sure. No, because there are some things that maybe won't work as expected. Mostly on relighting, because previous version of HDRP, if you're using HDRP, previous version didn't have relighting. This version has, and unfortunately, it required many changes on the underlying system. So this part isn't compatible. But I think that upgrading in any way, if you have all your like hierarchy already made, you can just rebuild it. I'm not sure. No, depends. Thank you. Let me see if there are something that I missed. Of course. Yeah, you can attach them to your buildings that you made. In this version, streets for Europe will be fixed. I mean, color will be lighter and not too dark. It was already fixed. If you go to a Discord channel, then you can just update your. I have posted. This is for Europe. Yeah, I will update it also for URP. I have made an update for HDRP, but new version of a floor shader is of street shader is will be available tomorrow, I think. Okay, let me ask you something. Please, guys, say me if this is something that I'm fixed about, but I like this idea so much that I really want to share it. Like, I'm having this kind of I wanted to create this kind of TV flickering inside a room. That maybe is something that nobody will notice, but as it doesn't cost too much in terms of performance, I would like to do it. Like to add this flickering. And if you are saying, okay, I will be doing this thing tonight in live stream, just showing how I'm working on it. Then maybe we can disable it later on with some features and so on. But I just wanted to create this thing. Let me see what are responses. Okay. The TV in the room and the ability to have other planes, so the rooms, some rooms can be a bit more alive, would be great. James, I'm also adding a possibility to add as much rooms as you want. So if you want to go bizarre, you can create even like 90 rooms. So this is one of the new implementations. When the version 2 will be available? If you go to Chris, if you go to a Discord support channel, you just have to send me your how to say invoice number, and I will add you to a beta testing group. So my plan is this version that I'm showing right now is already available in beta version. Will be available right now, and yeah. If you want to access it, you just have to send me your invoice name number, nothing else. James, also I was thinking for some kinds of implementations, maybe I could even add some people inside. But it's like a thing that it should be like an option. That's why I like HDRP as a marketing thing, that where you can add as much as you can, you know, like and strangely, I have to say this thing. Seascape right now performs better under HDRP. Than under URP. I don't know why. TV flicker sounds amazing. Yeah, I think it sounds. No, it looks amazing. Yeah. You could also add some light flicker to some shop signs. Yeah, of course. I'm working on that also. That will be a part of a same system. So. Better Egypt, I don't know. I haven't tried it. From tests that some users did with URP and Oculus Quest, they had more or less the same performance as before. It is a stable 72 hertz. So, but I was expecting more. Like, even if I'm trying to add some things and remove some things, it really, with new graphics cards, doesn't change any much of the performance. So I think that we are there. Let me just check if there. We have. Well, there are some buildings that have passages. Okay, so yeah, the question was: is it possible to make a passage? There are some buildings that have passages. Let me just check where it was. Probably here, right? Let me see here. There is one building that has a passage. Let me just check what it was. You can absolutely. So it's not a problem. It's just a question of. For example, you can see here. Sorry. I'm not showing. You can see here right now that there is some kind of a passage already created. There is another, but you can also. There are some buildings. I don't know why I can find them right now, because there are so many buildings that. No, I'm not sure. I can find it. But yeah, there are some. So you can create them absolutely. If you want to force it, you can just use those buildings as a templates. And for example, how does it work? You're just going here into a city. How to say? Let me just check here. Mega city. No. Here we have all the buildings that make templates. So you're just adding here some other buildings and just doing the things that have, like that has to be fixed for those. Boris, what is your hometown? By the way. As I'm also from Eastern Europe, so it's like I was from Eastern Europe. I understand it well. So yeah, right now in this new version of Seascape, we have a little bit of much more control over the things, and there are few of the, features, new features that make everything a little bit. Sorry, I'm not showing how. Yeah, make everything a little bit much more nicer. So like self-shadowing on these things. Many of the improvements on anti-aliasing. So practically we don't have too much aliasing issues anymore. There are some you will notice here, but it's it's really not. Yeah, you will notice some issues here, but those issues are pretty how to say, not too much visible. So So you can see here we can just blend those things, and in a few seconds you just have another type of a city, you know, like another type. It's not another type, but another look. So I just always I always want also to give an ability to anyone that buys my asset to just change it so that it doesn't look like any other asset that is there, like that other games that are there. So I hope that when the new version will be released, will support on version 1 and support on version 1. I don't. There is no any need to support it. I think it's because they are upgradable. Supporting something that was done maybe before with that version, it can be redone with a new version. So it's not like no. Oh, okay. Probably I understand the question. No, version 2 will always be available to anyone that has a version 1. So it is the same thing. It is a support over that one. Okay. Let me just check. Okay. I have seen here Boris. Oh, Nizhny Novgorod, Russia. Yeah. There are some old buildings from 30s that are, sorry, a pretty unique Soviet imperial style. Moscow science Petersburg has many too. Yeah, of course. This is why I also trying to add some new features in my Seascape, because I wanted also to simulate. Okay, yeah. This one feature is added mostly for reasons of simulating something like Soviet blocks. And it's like randomized surface chaos. Okay, so every surface is finished in another way. Okay. Then I have added, like. Okay, so in this way we are a little bit styling it differently. I can just change these options. Then I can just change like it was in some kind of buildings from a brutalist style that you had all the windows, but like different shapes, So yeah. I'm trying to add also this type of other things. Will you add the feature to create parks and green areas? Right now, you know that vegetation is a different thing. So I might create vegetation, but the best way is just to delete your block and then just add a terrain there. I'm not so concentrated on this part of a thing. But maybe I will do some kind of like green green part of things that can maybe substitute one of the buildings, you know, like for example, if I have here this building, and then we just substitute this building or this with a green, that could be a nice thing. And this is something that I'm working on. But for example, like adding here terrain would be a much better solution. So like just okay, 3D object, terrain, okay, let me see, terrain, where it is. Yeah, I will have to move it there and just okay, maybe lower it a little bit down, okay, and then just go into brush size, okay, let me just check it. Oh my god, opacity, okay, opacity, okay. So I'm not sure if you I think that you get what I want actually. So duck, let me just see, hold shift, okay, yeah, so this is my main idea. You just add this kind of a terrain below and then just do your thing. Then there are many ways, you know, like cities, there are so many things that can be simulated in a city that it is quite impossible to decide what feature you should give to a person, you know, like to user, because someone wants to see what happens in a room. Somebody wants to see what happens on the street. So my main idea is just to create something that can be flexible enough to work well, you know. Maybe with some manual work, because here you require some manual work. You are requiring some manual work, but I think that it's always much better, because with manual work you can always optimize and get, you know, get into things in a better way. I hope so. Okay, let me see. There was another message. I think that okay. Anonym. Are there any performance improvements over Seascape 1? There should be over the last version. There should be, because I have fixed some incompatibilities, mostly for mobile phones and things like that. But overall, I don't. Yeah, we will. As for HDRP, I think that I can go even further with implementing some new features without compromising too much performance. on modern hardware. On mobile, there will be surely some improvement. Okay, are there any other questions? If there aren't, I will be shutting down this stream. Okay, I think that there are okay, awesome, thank you, thanks. Okay, great, guys. I'm not sure, but I think that I will probably do some streaming later on how I'm modifying Seascape. To add that TV flickering, but this will be like a stream without too much comments and just I'm not sure. I should probably do this kind of streams, so more on Twitch. It's more for Twitch, but okay, never mind. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. It was a nice time with you, and thanks for all the answers. And yeah, I hope that I will be more available soon. And also, don't forget, if you bought Seascape, even if you bought Seascape, I'm suggesting you to buy a humble bundle, because it has many of the assets that are really cool, and also you will be contributing something to beneficent reasons. So yeah, if you can afford it, I think its value is great, even if you already have Seascape. Yeah, save it. Okay. Hi, James. Yeah, James, contact me sometimes in private, that I have to speak to you. Okay. Bye. Bye, guys. Have a nice evening or morning or whatever you have, where you live. I love you. Bye.